Hey, hello everybody. Just wanted to let you know we're coming here to the County Assessor's Office. We're going to talk to Tom Bordonaro today. So this will be an interesting little interview, slightly longer than normal, but we're going to talk about the new Proposition 19, which affects the portability of your real estate property taxes and also the transfer of taxes to heirs in your family. So it's going to be very interesting. So hope you enjoy this. Hello, and I'm here with a special edition of our market update. I'm here with our County Assessor Tom Bordonaro. Tom, thanks for being here with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure to have you. And we did this 6 years ago. Do you remember that? We talked about Prop 60.
Yeah, it seems like it was just yesterday.
Unfortunately, it seems like it
Time
wasn't very
does
long.
fly.
It does. So now we have a little kind of a modification, I guess, to Prop 60 with this new Prop. Is this Prop 19, right?
Prop 19.
Yeah. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about what that's going to mean for our real estate and our tax base here locally?
Sure. So Prop 19 brings in new rules about transferring your tax base if you're over 55.
Okay.
And so you can now transfer that 3 times anywhere in the state. And you can actually buy property up and prorate your new tax base. So if you had an older tax base, you're thinking about moving, but you don't want to move because your taxes are going to increase, you can now take advantage of Prop 19 and move across county lines.
Good, good. And you said you can buy, because there used to be a limitation on buying a more expensive home.
Correct.
And is that still in place?
No.
Okay.
So
Wow.
what the old Prop 60, the intent was, okay, I'm in a 4-bedroom home. My kids are out of school, or they're flown the nest, and so I don't need this big house. I want to sell this house and scale down.
Yes.
And so, but they were prohibited doing so because of the tax increase.
Right.
And so what occurred was the legislature ended up being out on the ballot in an initiative form. So you can now buy down on the old. So you couldn't buy up because the intent was I want to reduce the size of my house.
Right.
So this one does allow you to purchase up, but again, it's prorated.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, that's good. And then there's some transfer limitations in terms of handing down your tax base to your family members. How is that
Correct.
being affected?
So to pay for it, on the ballot, what occurred was there's another provision that allows parents to pass to their children a lower tax base. This severely limits it. Excuse me. It limits it to only $1 million of market value, and it has to be your primary residence.
Okay.
So previously, you could pass your primary residence tax base on to your children or your grandchildren.
Yes.
Without limitation, and then $1 million of taxable value on investment properties or farms or whatever it might be. That's been eliminated. It now is principal residence only, and it's limited to $1 million in value. So it severely reduces your ability to pass that lower tax base on to your heirs.
So what kind of impact do you think that's going to have for folks locally?
I think people are, first of all, they're going to be shocked when they find out that they are going to have to sell their investment properties because their children aren't going to be able to afford them, or their family farm.
Right.
But it's going to put some pressure on the local market. San Luis Obispo County is a net importer of folks, meaning
Yes.
more people want to come here than leave. I mean,
Right.
can you blame them?
Right.
And so we're going to see people selling their extremely high valued homes in other counties, bringing in very low tax base, which is going to put pressure on our local market, drive the price of homes higher than they are now,
Right.
make them less affordable for those,
Right.
and give an incentive to folks who can afford to move in to the county.
Got it. Okay. So if I'm giving my property I've owned for years in my family, first or second generation, I'm going to pass away, I give it to my kids, rather than pass on that lower tax base upon my demise at some point. Like, it's coming up soon, right? You have to decide soon.
It's got to be done by February 15th. This goes into effect. The parent-child portion of it goes into effect February 16th.
Wow.
The transfer across county lines for seniors and disabled goes into effect April 1st.
In April.
So you've got, if you want to move in, you got to wait a little bit longer.
Right.
If you want to transfer the tax base across county lines. But if you're doing any type of estate planning and you plan on giving your properties to your children, better do it before February 16th.
Yes.
And consult an attorney, because estate planning is quite complex. There's a lot of other different, other things besides property tax to consider.
Yes.
So I advise that people do that very quickly, and take a look at what their plans are and how they might be able to take advantage of the current law.
So to kind of recap what's happened, so if somebody's transferring that tax base to their children, they're going to lose that, and that's going to go up to market value. So it's going to be very expensive for those people to maintain that property.
Correct.
Especially if it's a farm or a business or something.
Correct.
An income property.
And more than that, it's going to be very difficult for you have to move into the property. So right now, your children could get the property. 3 kids could inherit one house. They could use it as a vacation home. They could use it as a rental, whatever it might be. Now, somebody has to move in the home, and they only have a year to claim the homeowners exemption, and they can't move out, because then it will be reassessed. Not sure how we would know that at the assessor's end. These are things that still have to be worked out through cleanup legislation, and I'm currently working with the Board of Equalization on that. So a lot of questions that are still out there on how this whole thing's going to work. It was very poorly written, and a lot of gray areas that need to be worked out.
Okay, so you've got the transfer among families, and then that what we call portability, which we had within this county. Right. Now allows people from outside the county to move in and do that, which is nice, but at the same time, they're going to come in, and the property that sells for, let's say, $1 million is not going to go up to $1 million assessment. It's going to take whatever assessment they bring in from their old home.
Correct. Within any county, it's a net sum zero gain.
Right.
Because the home that you sold will be increased up to that whatever that market value is. Right. So you're increasing the tax based on whoever purchases the property and lowering it on the one that you move into. So that's why within all 58 counties have Prop 58. It was a statewide mandate. Right. Later on, to move across county lines, it was a different proposition, and it left it up to the counties to adopt an ordinance.
Yes.
Counties like ours never adopted an ordinance. There was only 10 counties in the state that had that portability. Right. And that's because they're all urban areas pretty much, because people cross county lines all the time, don't even know they're really in a different county. Yes. So LA, the Bay Area, LA, Riverside, San Diego, Orange, those counties always had the portability.
Right.
One time. This now allows 3 times to move.
3 times. Take advantage of that. Great. Well, wow, a lot of changes here. Thank you for taking the time and sharing with us. It's good to see you again. And if folks have any questions, probably time to consult with your estate attorney, right?
Yeah, consult with your estate attorney, or give us a call. We can't give legal advice, but we can tell you what will happen if you give us a scenario, we can say, this is what would happen. We're working with people already that have gotten wind of this, that want to do something with their properties prior to February 16th.
This is a big change. Well, good. Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.